There's nothing like baseball. It's America at its best, especially St. Louis Cardinals Baseball. 11 World Series championships, 19 National League pennants, and the best fans in baseball.
Swing and it, get up, baby, get up, get up, get up. Home run, he's done it again.
Swing, look at there, look at there, look at there.
Fastball ripped hard, deep left center field, and that's your ball game.
Swinging a long, high fly ball into left center. This has got a chance. We are tied.
Do it with an exclamation point. Grand slam.
This is 2 for 3, a St. Louis Cardinals podcast. I'm your host, Moose Michaels.
Swinging a long one into left center. Get up, baby. Get up, get up.
Let's go on home.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. 2 for 3 is St. Louis Cardinals podcast. It's Moose, and no, I don't have my co-host with me yet. We're still getting that worked out. You know what? I'm going to ask him, and then I'll probably just announce it on Twitter or something. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. It's at Moose Michaels. The show Twitter page that I never update at 2 for 3 STL, and just spell it all out. Don't use the numbers. You can find us on Audio Boom, iHeartRadio. We're also on Saycaster now. Yeah. If you don't know what Saycaster is an interactive podcast platform. So when I say we talk about a particular player's performance, a series of games, whatever it might be, a link will pop up and it'll shoot you off to an article or a video or whatever the case might be. It's really cool stuff. So many thanks to the folks at Saycaster for allowing me to be one of the first to use it. Caused my podcast to show up in an article that I'm sure nobody ever saw. Let's see. We got a lot to get to. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. As I mentioned in the update episode, me and my wife expecting our first child. It's very soon now. We're in June. In fact, as of today, he is due to arrive 2 months from today. And I can't wait. It's going to be a little boy. Everyone always goes, "Hey, Moose, you got a name picked out yet?" No, we got a short list, but we're not settled on anything. And the reason that is because my wife, like so many other women out there, and we do have a short list of names, and no, we haven't decided on one. It's because even if she has a favorite, if she ever decides that she has a favorite, she wants to be able to change her mind. Just in case, he arrives and we take a look at him like, yeah, he doesn't look like a Dwayne. And no, Dwayne's not on the short list. So that's kind of what I've been up to. We get the nursery ready and everything else. I'm going to start trying to do these episodes at least once a week. And you'll be seeing some other changes. A co-host will be arriving. The intros and things will change a little bit to accommodate that co-host. I've done morning radio before. You never want to be the guy that's part of a show that never gets mentioned and stuff. It just kind of stinks. You know what I'm saying? Now, what is going on with the St. Louis Cardinals? Getting ready to begin the 3-game weekend series with the Reds today. Then they'll be coming back to Busch for a 6-game, 7-day homestand, 3 games against San Diego, 3 against Chicago. That starts on Monday. St. Louis went 4 for 3 over its most recent homestand against Pittsburgh and Miami. And third place, National League Central, 3 games back of first place as of this recording. The Brewers, of course, hanging out in first. The Cubs, a half game back behind them. And the Cardinals, 5-5 in the last 10 games and 10-10 over the previous 20 and 15-15 in their last 30. Kind of mediocre. And I think that's a good way to describe this club right now. Few bright spots, though. There are a few bright spots in everything that's going on. Miles Mikolas proving to be that guy. A genius signing. Talk about a discount on a great starting pitcher. With everything else going on, it just seems like that's going to be the thing that helps keep this club together, is that starting rotation. So some other little news and notes to go over. Lions to the 10-day DL. Myers is getting recalled. And that Lions to the DL thing, left elbow sprain, that's retroactive to June 6th. Oh, man. Yadier Molina, really good at Great American Ballpark. So this upcoming series against the Reds ought to be awesome. He's got a career 221. That's not good. He has a career 321 average, 14 home runs, 54 RBI. In fact, he's racked up his highest numbers at Great American Ballpark over all the other road ballparks. In hits, he's got 115 home runs, RBI, 25 doubles, and 39 extra base hits. So should be a pretty good series. I hope they can start turning things around, because the way this club is playing, it's simply not good enough. Not by a long shot. When you get picked off third base, Tommy Pham, and you start blaming the coaches, you have an issue. I was listening to the Kevin Wheeler show, and he says he's not saying this is true. He's not got any kind of official source or anything, but some of the stories he's hearing is that the coaches and the trainers and people like that, they're having to go find some of the players to get their early work in. They're not just showing up. They're not being on time. They're not being held accountable. So I'm starting to think there might be some toxic presences in the clubhouse. I love Tommy Pham as much as the next guy. He's a great player, one of the best defensive players currently on the Cardinals. But you have to think back to that article in Sports Illustrated and how he felt, right? Is he holding over any animosity because of that? I don't know. I mean, he's blaming Jose Oquendo. Listen, Oquendo's methodology, his message, that's not changing. He's not trying anything new. I'm sure of it. How are you going to turn around and blame that guy? It's ridiculous, right? Number two, what about Dexter Fowler? You know, a lot of people are talking about him having lazy playing lately. I'm not saying that by any means, okay? I'm not saying that Dex is lazy at all. Not one half of one bit. And he brings a pretty light presence to the clubhouse, but do you really need a more fun atmosphere with the Cardinals? You know, where's the competitiveness? You had John Lackey, and a lot of this stuff Kevin Wheeler talked about, and I'm just expanding on it a little bit. Chris Carpenter before that. You know, Albert Pujols was a bit of a competitor. Scott Rowland, those guys. This team doesn't seem to play with a lot of passion. If I had to put it into words. And while I've not been podcasting very much at all over the last little bit, I've been watching the games. And there is a lack of passion. And yeah, you had Yachty out for a good little while. Wainwright, he's going to be out for this foreseeable future. And when he comes back, in whatever role he comes back in, you need to soak it up. Because I got a feeling Wainwright is probably done after this year. And I don't just mean done as a Cardinal. If you can't get this stuff sorted out, I wouldn't be surprised to see him retire. It seems like he's a bit done. Like the goose is cooked, if you know what I'm saying. Also, what's with the Cardinals telling the managers and stuff about their injuries? Alex Reyes knew something was wrong, didn't bring it up. What's up with that? This guy was supposed to come in, help solidify the rotation even more than what it already is. You know, he's setting historic numbers in his rehab starts, and he's gone again for the season. And that brings me to about Reyes. You know, we're kind of bouncing around, but when it comes to Reyes, 2015, he showed up. He did okay. Or excuse me, 2016. 2016, he showed up and he was doing all right. We lose him for 2017 with Tommy John surgery. Now he comes back and he's got a messed up lat. Now we're going to be missing him again for the rest of the season. So the last time that he had any significant pitching done at the major league level, by the time he gets back, it will have been 2 years. I'm not saying to give up on him. I'm not saying to trade him. I'm not saying do anything like that. What I am saying is his status as a top prospect It's going to start losing some of that value. Is his mechanics wrong? What's going on? They got to figure that out, and they got to be honest with the coaching and the training staff, because a guy like Reyes, that what he is and what he means to the Cardinals rotation it's too valuable. It's too valuable of a commodity for him to not say something. And to a degree, Adam Wainwright's the exact same way. I'm good. I don't think you are. And he should have said so. Martinez, the same way. He went 4 innings the other day against the Marlins, was afraid to let loose. Why? Did you feel something? Was something tight? Was there some reason why you should not have been starting? You got to be honest with these players. And listen, I'm not at all above. And again, I listen to the Kevin Wheeler show a lot. I've seen other people say this too. I'm not above shipping out players who are bringing a toxic presence into the clubhouse and doing a major shakeup. And a lot of people, yeah, you want to fire Matheny. I get it. Matheny isn't the greatest manager in the world. There's other people I think I would prefer seeing as the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, but that's probably not going to happen. At least not in the season anyway. Mike Maddox just got there, and I have too much faith in his abilities as a pitching coach to let him walk away. John Mabry, yeah, let's get rid of him. I think he needs to go, but it's more than that. It's more than the coaches. You got to start taking a look at the players, okay? And like I said, maybe you get rid of Pham. If it looks like the team is heading for 3rd, and again, if the Pirates are for real, they might be heading for 4th, trade Pham. He's obviously not happy there based on his reaction to getting picked off 3rd, based on that SI article a while ago, based on his body language. He is not happy as things currently stand with the St. Louis Cardinals. Look at Dexter Fowler. Are we going to be able to trade Dex? No, probably not. He can't really field very much anymore. The bat, not doing so hot either. And no one's going to pick up the rest of that contract. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty bad contract by the end of it, and we're only 1 year in. Can you package him with somebody else and see if another team will take him? Maybe. So you're looking at the guys and the ones you're going to trade. You're not going to trade Ozuna, not unless you're just going to be flat out in last place and you're trying to get the biggest value you can. But if you do that, you're going to be selling low on Ozuna. Matt Carpenter, the same way, you'd be selling low on him. Jose Martinez, maybe, but the guy's, is he 29? Yeah, he's 29 or so. He's almost 30 and just now getting to the major leagues. So you look at the makeup of this team and what they can do with it, and there's not a lot of room for maneuvering. And before the season ever started, it's like I said, they needed another bat. And I still stand by that. Ozuna can smash and he can hit. I just don't know that he has that much protection to where he can actually do that. You got Jose Martinez hitting in front of him for the most part, and he's a great batter. But who's behind Ozuna? Dexter Fowler? Okay. And I'm rambling here, but the whole point I'm trying to get to is if you have some toxic presences in the clubhouse, you need to get those out. Look what the Red Sox did. It seems like yesterday, but it was years ago. Shipping off Josh Beckett and the rest of those guys to the Dodgers and making sure that they had, what ended up being a clubhouse that represented what the values of the Red Sox were. And the Cardinals have to get back to the Cardinals way. And it's kind of ironic. And, the great Cardinal Red Shane just passed away yesterday. And you think about it, how many guys are left that remember the true Cardinal way? This team is the only 2 people on the team that were with the last championship team. The last World Series team is Molina and Wainwright. They're not going to last forever. Now, the last time the team was really good, you had Waka, Molina, Wainwright, and some other guys. But for the most part, this is a new crop of guys. And the more you bring in that aren't used to it, the more you got to teach them. So this team needs a shakeup in a big way. And not just with the coaching staff. It's time to start moving some players. It's time to start bringing in the players that represent the values that the Cardinals do. one of the things the Cardinals do, you do the basics. Even when you're not winning, even when you're not hitting all that well, you do the basics. Okay? You field the ball. You set your feet when you throw the ball. You don't get picked off third because you're not paying attention. You don't do any of that stuff. The only reason the Cardinals are even doing well at all now, hanging out in third place, it's the starting pitching. And a lot of that can be put on the shoulders of Miles Mikolas and Michael Wacha. I remember the beginning of the season, I think Michael Wacha was going to be worth anything. He's 7-1. And he's one of the best pitchers on the staff right now. He's not the greatest pitcher on the staff, but he's one of the best. Miles Mikolas, if he stays the way he's doing right now, give that boy an extension. We got him this year. We got him next year. Give him an extension. Make sure that he's going to be a Cardinal for a little while. You're going to want to keep him around, and I bet you can. Cardinals got a lot of answers. A lot of answers to find. None of them are easy. And while it's easy to say, well, if I was John Mozeliak or Mike Gersh or Bill DeWitt, I would just do this and that and fire this guy and trade this guy and go out and get Machado. It's not that easy. The Cardinals have the talent. They could probably swing a trade for Machado, but I think you only do that if you are certain the Cardinals are going to be in the postseason. And the way they're playing, I don't know if they're going to. They're not going to be in the postseason right now. They're on pace for 88 games, which is it's good, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. Now with the Brewers and Cubs doing what they're doing, and I mean, you're not going to trade away some of your best prospects and some of the best talent you got working down on the farm for, 2 months of Machado? No. If anything, the Cardinals probably should have tried to trade for Machado in earnest before the season began. I don't know. I've never heard anything bad about Manny Machado. I've never heard anything bad about his personality. So I don't know if it's something the Cardinals would need in that situation or not. What I do know, though, is they got to figure this out. And they got to figure it out quick. Because those games against the Marlins are the ones that you absolutely have to win. You don't have a choice. That's one of the worst teams in the league. And you're going to let them come in and take 2 out of 3. That's what you're going to do. Because those are the games you can't lose. It's all going to be good teams pretty much from here on out after they get done with the Reds. And you can't lose the games that you have to win. You just can't. To their credit, the Cardinals do much better against the Cubs. Okay, but if you're going to be crappy against the rest of the league, it doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. This is a good team. It is a good team. They just have to get their heads out of their you-know-whats, and they got to start playing like they know how to play. That, or they got to find some guys. They got to pick up some leadership on this team. They got to find some players who are going to be willing to step up and say, listen, this isn't good enough. We're not supposed to be having fun when we're losing. And that's what it seems like to me. It seems like, this team's, they keep it light. They keep it loose, man. They don't let things get them down. They should. They should absolutely let these losses get them down. Because it's one thing to constantly stay negative about your team's progress. And trust me, plenty of people on Twitter are staying that way. But on the other hand, if you let it go too far in that direction where you don't let it bother you to the point that you don't care, where are you going to find the fire to win? Now, my plan, what I would do, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack for this, you shake the team up. Okay, no one's going to care if we get rid of John Mabry. It's going to have little effect on anything. Maybe outside of, letting players know that this is their fault that happened. Even though I don't think he's the greatest hitting coach that there's been. We did a much better job at hitting when Mark McGwire was there. I will say that. Start moving players. Move some core players. You don't want to sell low on anybody. But if you start moving guys, the ones you think are causing the problems in the clubhouse, and you start trying to bring guys in, they'll shake things up. That's what they got to do. They did before with Alan Craig. They probably need to do it again. And I'm not laying this all at the feet of Matheny either. This is on the players. This is most certainly on the players. So coming up this weekend, like I said, they do have a 3-game weekend series with the Reds. They'll be back at Busch for a 6-game homestand starting on Monday. Now, the good thing about the Reds is so far the Cardinals are undefeated against the Reds. In fact, they've won 9 straight at the Great American Ballpark. It's their longest win streak at the most current home of Cincinnati. And so the Cardinals' longest win streak in Cincinnati, by the way, it's 10. From August 1st, 1930 to May 23rd to 1931 at Crosley Field. They got to come in. They got to take care of business here. They got to sweep the Reds. They absolutely have to sweep the Reds. There's really nothing else about it. If they're serious about staying in the hunt for this thing, they've got to start tonight. Game time. 6:10, by the way. Luke Weaver taking the bump for the Cardinals. Pitched 5 innings last time out, allowing 1 run and a no decision as the Cardinals won 3-2. It was the Colton Wong walk-off in the bottom of the 9th against Pittsburgh. In fact, some more little trivia about Weaver. All 3 of his wins this season have come on the road. He ranks, he's tied for 8th among National League pitchers in road wins. In fact, of his 31 runs allowed, 12 have come in the second inning. So he doesn't even make it one time through the order, right? He is averaging roughly 9.79 strikeouts per 9 innings over his career, which is only 160 major league innings. He's got some potential, and I think Weaver can take care of business. He's currently on a 3-game win streak versus Cincinnati, winning twice in 2017 and in his lone start at the Great American Ballpark on April 13th earlier this year. Michael Wacha be starting on Saturday. He won against Pittsburgh in his last start, went 5-0. 8 innings pitched. That's the one where he almost no-hit him. That was a great game. I was really rooting for that. All right. Harrison Bader, if he shows up at all, he's batting .279 with 5 home runs, 8 RBI, and 23 starts this season. Matt Carpenter, he's managed to get his batting average up to .225 since May 16th, going 29 for 86 with 10 doubles and 4 home runs in 21 games. In fact, since May 16th, leads the National League in doubles and code leads in extra base hits, along with Matt Kemp, another guy that everyone thought was washed up. I guess not, right? Dexter Fowler is batting a combined .363 against the Reds and Brewers this season, but believe it or not, he's only batting .121 against the rest of the league, going 16 for 132. So if he's gonna get things going, this might be the series where he can try to find his groove again. Jose Martinez, he's on a 5-game hitting streak, going 9 for 18. He's batting .500. In fact, against Cincinnati so far this year, he's batting .400. In fact, if you take a look at how the Cardinals bat against Cincinnati, there's a lot of good news there. There's some guys in there that are really teeing off. Greg Garcia, I believe he just got off the paternity list. He's batting .500 against Cincinnati this year. Tommy Pham, .474. Yachty, .444. Harrison Bader, .400. Jose Martinez, .400, like I said. Dex going .368. Jed Jerko, .333. Paul DeYoung's not going to be playing. He's on the DL, but he bats .240. Now, from there on out, it gets kind of crappy. Marcell Ozuna this year only batting $190 against the Reds. Matt Carpenter doing worse than that, hitting only .136. The pitching tends to be very well against the Reds, too, all up and down. The pitching staff, starting rotation, and the bullpen, with the exception of Luke Gregerson and Tyler Lyons, both of which won't be pitching at all. Bud Norris, believe it or not, has an ERA of .450 when pitching against the Reds. Michael Wacha, who's taking the mound tomorrow, .309. Luke Weaver has a 3 ERA. So not too bad at all. This series, for what it's worth, ought to be ought to be one where the Cardinals can come back and get on the right track, because they got to. They've got to take the series from the Reds, because what's coming up, starting with Chicago, they can't play around. The Padres coming to town, they're not a very good team either. So you've got the series against the Reds, you got the series against the Padres, and then after that, you're playing some really good teams. You got Philly, you got Atlanta, you got the Cubs. So you can't fool around with this stuff. You absolutely cannot fool around with this stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And hopefully next week we're going to have a new co-host in here with us, and we're going to have some fun. So glad to be back. It's 2 for 3, a St. Louis Cardinals podcast. And until next week, you drink a brewski for the Mooski. I'm out.